Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Since yesterday, Times Now was the only channel to bring to you the drug cartel and Rhea Chakraborty's role in administering drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput, virtually to disable him. And that has become the centerpiece of investigations, with at least 3 agencies looking at this angle. The Enforcement Directorate, which first accessed these chats, delivered them from iCloud because these chats had been deleted by Rhea Chakraborty. If there was nothing wrong in them, then why did she delete them is the big question. But the ED has also sent these chat details to the CBI, which is investigating the case, and the Narcotics Control Bureau, which has registered the case this evening after Times Now's expose yesterday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we don't give you rhetoric about nepotism without any evidence on it. We don't give you rhetoric about how we can change the world. What we give you is facts, hard facts, in this case, black and white facts, chats which incriminate Rhea Chakraborty, even though her lawyer says she's never consumed drugs, but her chats are there out for you to see. And tonight, I'm going to show you, for the last 3 hours, we've had a marathon session here on Times Now, giving you chat after chat, chat after chat. And everything that really comes out from this is Rhea was the controller in Sushant Singh Rajput's house, and there was a ring of people working around. She had replaced those people when she came to live with Sushant Singh Rajput. The old guys had been removed, and then it was Rhea controlling Samuel Miranda, Dipesh Sawant, and the others. Part 1 that we showed you was Rhea and Gaurav Arya, the drug peddler, who we showed you yesterday. These chats are from March 2017, and in these chats, we told you that Rhea was somebody who was habituated to taking drugs because she was actually talking to Gaurav Arya about supplies of drugs. She talks about LSD and MDMA that she has consumed in the past. Then that is 2017, when she didn't know Sushant Singh Rajput. Then we brought out part 2 of the chats. Dude, Bhubaneswar is the scene. Best weed ever. Rhea tells her friend Simone Khambata, a model. This is how the swish circuit in Mumbai, Bollywood, modeling, talk about drugs all the time. And the Mumbai police clearly had no idea this happens, because they didn't bother to look at the phone or the chats or the digital footprint of Rhea Chakraborty's phones. Part 3 of our expose. All right, the Simone Khambata chats were from March 2017. I just need to correct that. This is from March 2017. And then April, come to April 2020. And April 2020, Rhea is talking to Dipesh Sawant, who is employed by Sushant Singh Rajput, somebody who's been brought in by Rhea herself, and they discuss where to access various types of drugs from. Number 4, Rhea and Samuel Miranda's chat, where she's talking about 2 credit cards, a big and a small. I presume it's a card with higher limit or a lower limit. You know, that's how she describes. And she's even asking Samuel Miranda, can we change the PIN through net banking? And she's accessing the money of Sushant Singh Rajput and giving instructions to Samuel Miranda not only to get drugs, but also to change pins and use the money of Sushant Singh Rajput. Part 5 of our investigations, and all of these are in black and white. We'll keep playing them out through the show. And part 5 is again with Samuel Miranda, where they are talking about sourcing drugs, new drug peddlers, new people that they are trying, and even her brother Shavik involved in all of this. And now comes the big smoking gun on how Rhea was manipulating. Rhea Chakraborty was manipulating Sushant Singh Rajput, and this becomes clear. This lady, Jaya Saha, working at Quan, which is the PR agency, and this Jaya Saha is actually an advisor to Rhea Chakraborty for sourcing drugs and how to administer these drugs. And Rhea Chakraborty tells Jaya Saha, so glad you've sent this. When she sends some drugs over to Rhea, yesterday we showed you those chats. Then she asks, Jaya asks Rhea, did it help at all? And this is what Rhea responds. Yes, calmed him down quite a bit, only once a day. And then she repeats the question, can I give it to him only once a day? And then Jaya tells her, nope, you can take it twice or thrice. So they're talking about giving drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput twice or thrice daily, and each time the impact stays for 6 hours to 7 hours, which means the entire day he's drugged. And then she says, all 3 of his sisters are coming today. Remember the date, 25th of November 2019. She says, all 3 sisters of Sushant are coming. We know Shweta lives abroad, so clearly she's referring to Rani Didi, Meetu and Priyanka. And Jaya responds to her, oh wow. In the next chat, this is what Rhea tells Jaya. Nizam bhai, if we can go to the next chat. Yeah, she says, I'm a bounce. Obviously slang for that I'm going to give 3 doses to Sushant Singh Rajput and then I'm going to leave the house. And then look at what she says. It will be a good breather for you as well. Jaya tells Rhea, clearly a very friendly banter that's going on between them. And then Rhea says, hand over to them, I guess. So she says she will hand over Sushant Singh Rajput to them because he's unwell. He's sleeping. He's been administered 3 doses a day. Hope they don't, I'm sorry, it's a 4-letter word. Hope they don't dash him up more, which means that when they come, they find out about what's wrong with him, which is why Rhea administers these drugs, disabling Sushant Singh Rajput so that he cannot even express himself to his own family, his own sisters, who he's been so close to. At least for a bit. That's what she says. And Yana, Jaya knows it all. It's a conspiracy, and Rhea drugs her boyfriend, partner, Sushant Singh Rajput, takes instructions from Jaya, says 3 times a day you can give him drugs, and this is what will keep Sushant Singh Rajput with his sisters on this date, November 25th, 2019. She's messing up his relations with his sisters. He's going to be sleeping all the time. And he was to accompany his sisters to Panchkula when the family told me this. But on the last day, he changed his mind because Shovik came and said something to him. So they were scaring him, they were drugging him, they were taking him to psychiatrists who were giving all sorts of depression pills, along with this cocktail of drugs that was being administered. And this was the heady cocktail that probably took Sushant Singh Rajput's life in the end, and what really transpired. More breaking news coming in at this. We are getting breaking news from our reporters. All the details of these chats were erased on 8th of June. Now, 2 things happened on 8th of June. Disha Salian died on 8th of June, friend of Sushant Singh Rajput, and Rhea Chakraborty left the house of Sushant Singh Rajput on 8th of June. Siddhant, what's the information that you're getting at this point?
Well, that's absolutely right, Navika. We have been confirmed that hard disks were destroyed or got destroyed on 8th of June. Now, the significant part is that on 8th and 9th intervening night, Disha Salian also died. Not just that, 8th is also very crucial because the same day Rhea Chakraborty left Sushant's Mont Blanc apartment, and that is the same day she texted Mahesh Bhatt that Aisha is moving on. Now, this has been found in Central Bureau of Investigation's probe, and the testimonies that they have got from Dipesh and Keshav that the hard disks were destroyed on 8th of June. Now, this is something, Navika, which has never come in Mumbai Police's investigation, and this is the first time that even we are also getting to know from Central Bureau of Investigation. This is going to be a very crucial angle. First, what was there inside those hard disks? Were those hard disks anywhere related to Disha Salian? And the third very important one, who destroyed those hard disks? Back to you.
Very important information coming in at this point in time. 8th of June was when the hard disks were erased in Sushant Singh Rajput's house. All computers, all emails, everything was destroyed on 8th of June, and 8th of June is the day Disha Salian died. Now, did Rhea leave the house before or after Disha Salian's so-called suicide? Did she destroy the evidence before or after Disha Salian's suicide? And if she destroyed it before, did she know what was going to happen? Was there a ring that was operating? Could Rhea be doing all of this alone? Were there other high and mighty people who were involved? And why did Rhea not take any call from Sushant Singh Rajput between the 8th and the 13th of June? And ladies and gentlemen, this is being looked at by the investigation agencies. Did Sushant Singh Rajput actually die on the 14th or late night of June 13th? Did he die of suicide or was it a murder? All questions coming open, and Rhea Chakraborty's role out there. And here is the big legitimate question that we are asking tonight. And the legitimate question tonight is, why was Mumbai police covering up Sushant's murder? Why was it protecting Rhea Chakraborty? That's the question and the debate. India for Rhea arrest. That's the hashtag and the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Well, joining me tonight, Dr. Sambit Patra, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Ishkaran Bhandari, Sundar Balakrishnan, Surendra Chauhan, advocate, Sailesh Pandey, leader of the Shiv Sena, Tehseen Poonawala, all with us this evening. And Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to come across to you first. We brought you the full dossier. We never do a half-baked job. And this is black and white information, or if you would like to look at the colored copy, then it's blue and green WhatsApp chats that we have been able to access. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, what was the Mumbai police trying to protect in this case?
Yeah, good evening, Navika. As I said, day after day, week after week, the mind boggles at the botch-ups. This is completely deliberate, let me tell you. And the drugs angle provides the strongest possible motive, and it must be investigated to the fullest extent. That said, the cynic in me is not very optimistic, Navika, that this is achievable. Because Mumbai is the center of organized crime and drug trafficking in India. And it is inconceivable that politicians do not control it. Politicians need money to fight elections, and the biggest engine that chugs this gravy train along is drug trafficking, with the money laundered through film financing. Confiscation of party drugs has increased from 40 kilograms in 2012 to 2,000 kilograms today. Just 3 days ago, Narcotics Control Bureau in Mumbai busted an international drug racket and seized a huge cache of MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy. It was illegally trafficked from Belgium and concealed in toys. Last month, Navika, a man was arrested in Mumbai for buying MDMA online from Germany. In 2018, a man was arrested after a huge consignment of drugs was seized in Mumbai. He was found to be working with the close aid of Dawood Ibrahim. I now quote from an article updated on June 7th in HT. Quote, A Mumbai-based talent management firm's owner says, quote, "You cannot have private parties in Bollywood without drugs. Anyone in the industry knows. I can recall the parties hosted by a Bollywood couple that has since separated. Drugs would be spread out on a large table and the binging would start," end quote. And finally, as far as for my good friend Tessin, claiming yesterday no one sells or supplies drugs via WhatsApp, I don't know what he's smoking. Dozens of reports contradict him. He only had to Google. August 29th last year, Mumbai's anti-narcotic cells arrested a man selling drugs via WhatsApp heavily. Logical, as WhatsApp and Signal and EncroChat are end-to-end encryption services and are used by drug dealers. In fact, there is a term for it called micro-trafficking. So, my dear Tessin, I would love to know your explanation today.
Well, before I go to Tehseen Poonawalla, I want to get in Ishkaran Bhandari, who has been leading this Warriors for SSR movement virtually, which has raised questions from day one on the Sushant Singh Rajput suicide, which the Mumbai police wanted to sell us hook, line and sinker fall for this theory. Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to ask you tonight, where was the Mumbai police when these chats were sitting on Rhea Chakraborty's phone? They did not even confiscate her phone on the 14th of June as the person who was living with Sushant Singh Rajput for the last 1 year before his death, somebody who was running his household, Samuel Miranda, Dipesh Sawant, everybody was reporting to her. And the Mumbai police let her go. In fact, the DCP of Bandra was in touch with her, talking to her, messaging to her, and not paying any heed to the warnings, to the complaints that came in from the family. Ishkaran Bhandari, the more evidence that we are digging out, the more it's becoming clearer that this was pre-planned conspiracy to murder.
Navika ji, I would congratulate you, and I'll tell you the reason I'm congratulating. The entire nation was wanting to know, the world was wanting to know, why is Mumbai police not seizing the electronic evidence? Why is Mumbai police not doing forensic of electronic evidence? And if you may allow me, on 10th July, I wrote a letter to Mumbai Police Commissioner. The heading of the letter is, and that's why I'm telling you why I'll congratulate you, because you have answered the question. My letter to Mumbai Police on 10th July, if you can see it on the screen, I will just WhatsApp it to you also, for preserving and sending all material electronic evidence connected or incidental to the death of late Mr. Sushant Singh Rajput. And then I cited some judgments which show how important is the electronic evidence. 10th July. People kept asking, why is Mumbai police not issuing a statement on this or answering this? Today, yesterday, you have given the answer to the nation why Mumbai police was not answering, because if they examined those WhatsApps, those chats, and we do not know how many more chats you will break, because Mumbai will not break. How many more chats will come forward? So that the nation now knows why this 10th July letter was not being answered. Second point, today we have 3 investigative agencies with 3 separate FIRs. 1 CBI, 2nd ED, 3 NCB. So 3 separate cognizable offences are being investigated after an FIR. And Mumbai police did not find even one cognizable offence to register even one FIR after 66, 67, 70 days of investigation, whereas we have 3. Third point of these confessions coming out and these electronic evidences being destroyed. If electronic evidence was destroyed on 8th, then that shows a pre-planned conspiracy. This is not destruction on 15th or 18th that you were trying to destroy embarrassing chats. You were destroying it prior, 5-6 days prior to the, or maybe on the day, night of Disha. I do not know the exact hours, we will need to. And hopefully in this, we will have a time of destruction, unlike no time of death in this case. So we will have that. Now that would show pre-planning. And that would be vital, because that would show meeting of mind, that would show conspiracy, that would show IT professionals coming, that would show people being kept quiet. So all this now that you have exposed answers why Mumbai police was acting the way they were acting. My heartiest congratulations to you for answering the nation's question, which I had asked the Mumbai police.
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla, chats chats right here between Jaya Saha of the Quan Agency and Rhea Chakraborty, where they are discussing. Yesterday, they were saying, put 4 drops in a cup of coffee, tea or water, and then allow 30 to 40 minutes for it to kick in. Today, we've shown chats where she's asking, can I give it only once or can I give it more times? And Jaya advises her, nahi yaar, 2-3 baar de do din mein, kya hai? And then the whole manipulation of Sushant Singh Rajput, crystal clear with evidence that Mumbai police wanted hidden because there is no other way to describe this omission unless there was commission, unless there was complicity, unless there was connivance. And the sisters and the family, when they were coming to meet Sushant Singh Rajput, he had virtually been disabled. Couldn't say anything to them about what he was facing, how he was doing this. And I'm adding to this that Sushant Singh Rajput was a brilliant actor, brilliant mind, and somebody was drugging him, making a cocktail of psychiatric drugs along with these drugs, and virtually disabling and completely destroying a young working mind. This, to me, seems like a conspiracy to take away his work, to take away his existence, to take away his money. Everything rolled into one, and the Mumbai police wanted the country to believe that this was a suicide. The government of Maharashtra wanted everyone to believe that this was a suicide. Why? Any defense? I can't hear you.
All the questions. Please just don't interrupt me. I'm going to be very brief and to the point. I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to be to the point. And I hope, can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm going to be very brief to the point. Your question was 1 minute 33 seconds. I'm going to take half the time. Please don't interrupt me. First thing, my dear friend Anand Ranganathan spoke about Mumbai. He called it the center of drugs. Bollywood, he quoted somebody from Bollywood. I must believe Anand because the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, Samvit Bhai's here, was pushing his wife to sing Bollywood songs and using Mumbai police to sell Bollywood song tickets. So perhaps they know a little bit. Therefore, when the UPA government came, the Congress Mahagathbandhan government, the Anand's claims of drug rackets being caught. Now, ecstasy, as Anand said, is right from America and Belgium, comes to India via Pakistan, via the Gujarat route. So now we should understand ecstasy is a synthetic drug not manufactured in India. Weed, of course, is in Uttarakhand and Himachal. So those questions could be asked to Mr. Modi. Perhaps I can also show you a chat of somebody called Namo Rambo or ordering mushrooms online, which are grown in India, make in India, and therefore he thinks
Tehseen Poonawalla, I'm sorry, I have to only ask you, you've named Trump, you've named Modi, you want to name any heads of states other than these before coming down to Rhea Chakraborty's role in Sushant Singh Rajput's life in disabling him? You know, Trump, if you want to do a global debate on G20 or the top 5 countries, maybe you're on the wrong channel. You should be headed to another channel. Right now, what I'm asking you is a simple question on Rhea Chakraborty's role in manipulating and drugging Sushant Singh Rajput, and that's the question I need you to answer.
Okay. Yes, I want to answer that, but I did not name Trump. Ecstasy comes from a bark which comes in North America. That is not naming Trump. That is not naming Trump. I said Fadnavis was pushing his wife in Bollywood songs. That is asking that didn't he know
Ishkaran Bhandari.
But let me come to your
Ishkaran Bhandari. This is exactly what the Mumbai police was doing.
Yes.
This is exactly what the Mumbai police was doing. I think Tehseen Poonawalla has been training with the Mumbai police because the murder of Sushant Singh Rajput happened in Bandra and they were calling Karan Johar, they were calling Aditya Chopra.
Navika, this is adding injury to the emotional wounds of the country where you do a farcical debate. एक मजाक उड़ाने के लिए आप डिबेट करते हैं, यूएस से लेके मैक्सिको भी चले जाएंगे और ये गोल्डन ट्रायंगल पे भी चले जाएंगे, पर जो केस है, the specific case of the death of Sushant Singh Rajput and which appears to be a murder case, उसके बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे because that was an investigation by Mumbai police. That was a botch up by Mumbai police. Who ordered that botch up? Who allowed that botch up? Who did not allow Mumbai police because they are ordinarily a very professional police force with exemplary courage. Who ordered, and I'm repeating the word ordered, the quarantine of the SP of Bihar. Maybe we should find electronic evidence of those instructions where a municipal corporation quarantines an IPS officer. So please stop making a mockery out of the emotions of people. You people did not even think it was a crime, and now there are 3 FIRs. Don't talk about Golden Triangle. Don't talk about Cambodia. Don't talk about London. Don't talk about US. Talk about Mumbai police, their investigation, and appreciate the fact that finally we are having a criminal investigation. And due to Navika breaking these records, we may have a drug investigation now. Talk about specific things of the case.
You know, I really don't know how somebody can make a joke out of a person's death.
10 seconds, Navika.
Here I am breaking information about how before the arrival of his sisters, Rhea was drugging Sushant Singh Rajput. And to Tehseen Poonawala, it's a laughing matter. I don't know. I'm not going to judge him, but I've got callers today calling in. Krishna calling. I'm coming to you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, just a second. Krishna calling in from Faridabad, Ganpati from Chennai. The gods are calling in. Krishna, what's your question?
Yeah, good evening, Navika ji.
Good evening, sir.
I just want to request you to request CBI that in addition to whosoever they are investigating, they should also find out the motive of the apologists who are still defending Mumbai police.
Good question. I will ask the agencies. Thank you for joining us on the News Hour. Ganpati, what do you think?
Fantastic job, Navika and team. And Tehseen, it's high time you guys grow up here. We are not fools here. Please. Okay? You really have to be a little mature in your observation. And it is for everyone to see what has happened. Mumbai police have tried clearly to botch up. Forget being the Scotland Yard police, they can't even work in my backyard. That is how stupid they have been. And they're clearly covering up someone who is in the top. Let's be honest about it. And I think, Tehseen, you should really be matured enough and you should give it up.
I hope Ganpati, your point is taken by those who are still defending the Mumbai police. Thank you very much for joining us here on the News Hour. And ladies and gentlemen, don't congratulate us because our job is not yet over. Justice for Sushant is something that we started here as a campaign, as a mission. Because if it can happen to a boy from a small town like Sushant, it can happen to you, it can happen to me, it can happen to our children, our brothers, our sisters. And this is a fight that we have not ended yet. And at the moment, while we are looking for justice, congratulations over the work that we are doing really don't seem in place at this moment, simply because a life has been lost. A family has been destroyed and scarred forever. And Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to ask you, those who are still going out there, like Tehseen, and actually giving us such lame explanations in the face of the facts that we've put out. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, how can they?
Yeah, no, Navika, as far as Tehseen is concerned, I'm sure my good friend Tehseen would not mind if I request you, Navika, the way he's been behaving lately, to please have a blood test conducted of all the panelists before they come on your debate. But I want to make 2 points. Number one, Navika, through your sensational disclosures, it might actually be, ironically, I'm just conjecturing out here, that indeed it may have been suicide, because if you have drugged Sushant to such an extent that he is hallucinating and he is in that condition that he is feeling suicidal, it might actually be that you forced him to commit suicide. That is why it is culpable suicide. So that angle opens up now with this drug revelation. And number two is my question to everyone on the panelists, which is what it beats me. For example, if I was the propagandist and given the job in Mumbai police to hide and do botch-ups, the first thing I would have done, is to have registered the FIR. Because had I done so, it would have been impossible for Bihar police to register an FIR, almost impossible for the CBI to then be requested by the Bihar state to come in and take over the case from Mumbai police. So I don't know who is this guy in Mumbai police who said, "Sab mujh pe chhod do, FIR nahi file karte hain." The first thing, if you wanted to cover up, should have been to file an FIR and to make sure you control this botched up investigation.
Point well made. And as my grandmother would always tell me, Dr. Sambit Patra, I want to get you in. As my grandmother would tell me, nakal ke liye bhi akal chahiye. So clearly, they were so overconfident that this had been declared to be a suicide, and nobody would ask them any questions. And that's what overconfidence very often destroys your case. And Dr. Sambit Patra, that's the moot point. No phones, no data records, no FIR, and day one came the declaration, oh, it's a suicide, and the Maharashtra government also echoed this. And now a planned conspiracy is what we are looking at. So who was protecting Rhea Chakraborty?
See, Navika, if you would see the behavior of my good friend Tehseen Poonawalla, you would find an analogy with the behavior of Maharashtra government. While it's raining truths, it's raining evidences, my good friend Tehseen was trying to hide
only on Times Now, Dr. Patra. It's raining evidences only on Times Now, not the other channels. They don't have the dossier.
Yes, of course. It is raining evidences. It's raining evidences. It's raining truth. Tehseen was trying to hide himself underneath a mushroom whose diameter would not be more than 2.5 to 3 centimeters. You know that he would not be able to protect himself hiding beneath a mushroom. That's what the Maharashtra government was trying to do, hiding behind a mushroom while it was raining evidences. Now, I want to keep my delivery over here quite simple. A, B, C, D, E, F, that's it. A lot was amiss in this case. A mystery man, a mystery woman. I mean, we have accounts, A for accounts, and he was talking about PIN codes, exchange of PIN codes. B for the Bollywood cartel and the Bollywood nexus. C for all kind of chats and deliveries. D for drugs. Now drugs have also entered into the narrative. E for efficiency of the Mumbai police. While we had A, B, C, D, where was the efficiency of Mumbai police? We had all the ingredients for the Mumbai police to be in fact working hard and nailing the ones who were responsible for it. But no, there was no F, in the sense that there was no FIR. So in fact, the last, if I'm allowed to say the G, the Mumbai police was gyrating with the criminals. And if someone was having a live-in relationship with someone else, it was not just Rhea. Mumbai police was having a live-in relationship with all those who were criminals, with all those who had a criminal conspiracy. And my good friend Mr. Bhandari would be knowing over here, Ishkaran Bhandari would be knowing over here, that there is a judicial doctrine called as res ipsa loquitur, meaning things and evidences speak for themselves. Over here, evidences are speaking for themselves. Let me conclude by saying, I don't know how many of you watch Designated Survivor. It's a famous Netflix series, Designated Survivor. Who was the designated survivor over here? Whom was the Scotland Yard, quote unquote, so-called Scotland Yard, trying its best to protect? Who is the designated protector? If you would see that series, you would realize there was something called as Catlan.
Absolutely, Dr. Patra. Absolutely, Dr. Patra. But this is a thriller in its own right. Ishkaran, don't go away. I'm coming back to you. Arindam calling in from Dubai, Raja from Kolkata, Manoj from Faridabad. Arindam, what do you think about the Mumbai police and the investigation? More evidence is out on Times Now than the Mumbai police had ever dreamt existed.
I no more. First of all, you told not to congratulate your team, but I simply cannot hold myself from saying, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I cannot hold saying that job well begun, but long way to go. But Ms. Navika, I have a simple question. I think I no more tell myself as a proud Indian, because Mumbai and Maharashtra is an integral part of India, and I feel very sad being an NRI to say that we are proud Indians. I'm sorry to say that. We are no more proud Indians because you cannot isolate Mumbai. But I want to tell you one thing in a very short note. It's very unfair for you to have learned people like Dr. Ranganathan and Mr. Bhandari, well-read, well-versed, people like them on the show, and the rest of the others on the other side. It doesn't make a balance. Because this debate, when I hear people who are not learned, they just wear blinkers, they do not understand what the truth is, and they keep on projecting.
I understand your point, Arindam. I know it makes my blood boil too. But, you know, I would be accused of not hearing the other side. And as part of the fourth estate, as part of being a journalist, I need to hear the other side. I need to have an open mind and at least hear the argument of the other side, which is why the judgment on Newshour is not given by me. It's being given by the viewers and your, जिसे कहा जाता है आपका जो जजमेंट है वो हमारे सर आंखों पर. अगर आप इनकी दलीलें समझते हैं और उनको किनारे कर देते हैं तो I think the message should be going out to them. Thank you, Arindam, for joining me. Raja from Kolkata. Raja, what do you want to say?
Navika, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go on.
Navika, next time some crime happens in Mumbai by any Bihari person and the guy comes back to Bihar, it makes a precedent that Bihar police might mete out the same treatment to Mumbai police. So, first of all, before CBI came in, this is an important observation, and this observation is valid for any cross-state murder or any cross-state illegal activities. Now, regarding the Sushant case, my hunch feeling is that in the morning of 14 June, some team came from outside and drugged Sushant and hanged him down and went away.
Well, yes, we can continue to speculate. At the moment, I don't want to do that. I want to base it on evidence. But yes, you're right. It should be an angle investigators need to look at. Manoj from Faridabad, what do you think? Quickly.
Good evening to you, ma'am. You don't want this out of humility, I can understand. But I would like to first congratulate you and your team for all that you did. And agreeing with Ishkaran Bhai here, people like Tehseen Poonawala, Sushant Singh Raman, Ravi Srivastava, I don't see they will ever contribute anything constructive to this. They will deny all the evidence that is occurring on their shows.
I know at least some of them are here on the panel and they're hearing you. I hope they understand the pulse of the people of India. They don't understand us, it's fine. They have a view on their political leanings, it's fine. They hate the BJP, it's fine. They have political differences, it's fine. But here we are talking about a life. We are not talking about politics, and I hope they appreciate that fact. Thank you, Manoj, for joining me. Ishkaran Bhandari, you wanted to make a point.
I want to make one small point because it's to the public. Mr. Arindam said he feels less proud as an Indian because of actions of Mumbai police. Please do not. They also had a Tukaram Umle with just a lathi caught Ajmal Kasab. It is not about Mumbai police. It's about a specific case where presumably there are specific instructions. And Indians, all of you probably tweet about it, talk about it, Navika ji on Times Now, all of us are all fighting for Sushant Singh Rajput, and we are all Indians. So feel proud as an Indian that in spite of...
and we will fight for justice. We will fight for justice. And Shailesh Pandey, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, कॉलर आफ्टर कॉलर, दुनिया में आज जितने लोग इंडियंस जहां भी हैं वहां पोस्टर फॉर सुशांत सिंह राजपूत की जस्टिस के लगे हुए हैं. ये मुंबई पुलिस ये सब कुछ नहीं पता कर सकी जो आज निकल के आ रहा है. कौन बचा रहा है इस सारे षड्यंत्र को, और क्यों हमें बताया जा रहा था कि सुशांत सिंह राजपूत ने सुसाइड किया है? शैलेंद्र पांडे जी.
देखिए नमिका जी, जहाँ तक मुंबई पुलिस की बात है तो वो हाँ मेरी आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही है?
जी बोलिए.
मेरी आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही है? हाँ, जहाँ तक यहाँ की बात है तो ऐसा कोई एक तथ्य पे नहीं पहुँचा गया था. जांच शुरू थी और जांच कई एंगलों से हो रही थी, जिसमें नेपोटिज्म का विषय था, रिया का विषय था, या और भी जो भी एंगल थे, सारे विषय थे.
नेपोटिज्म की जांच और आपने एक भी तथ्य नहीं देखा. 72 दिन आज हो गए हैं, 2 days of Sushant Singh Rajput's death, और आप कई एंगल से देख रहे थे, एक भी कागज आपके हाथ नहीं लगा। ये कागज जो एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट के हाथ लगा, सीबीआई के हाथ लगा, नारकोटिक्स कंट्रोल ब्यूरो के हाथ लगा, वो मुंबई पुलिस के हाथ नहीं लगा। और आप कह रहे हैं आपने तो फोन भी नहीं जब्त किया था रिया चक्रवर्ती का, सैमुअल मिरांडा का। आप हमें सिखाएंगे स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स क्या है? महाराष्ट्र की सरकार और मुंबई पुलिस का एक ही स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर है, और वो प्रोसीजर है कि सच को दफन कर दो, सच को दफन कर दो, चाहे किसी की जान जाए, लेकिन किसी पॉलिटिशियन, किसी पावरफुल आदमी पर आंच ना आए। आप कहते हैं आप कॉमन मैन की सरकार है, आपने किया क्या किसी कॉमन मैन के लिए?
ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। अभी तो नमिता जी, अभी तो सीबीआई जांच शुरू है ना, अभी सीबीआई जांच शुरू है।
सीबीआई की जांच तो आप चाहते भी नहीं थे। मुंबई पुलिस ने तो अलग से पिटीशन भी नहीं डाला था, महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट ने तो अलग पिटीशन भी नहीं डाला था, ज्वाइन कर लिया था रिया चक्रवर्ती के साथ। आप सीबीआई चाहते कहां थे जो आज आप सब कुछ सीबीआई के ऊपर डाल रहे हैं? Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I lose my temper, we'll slip into a short break. I'm leaving Shailendra Pandey's statement with you. When I come back, I'm going to ask you how you feel about this explanation that's coming out from the Shiv Sena tonight.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. One more piece of breaking information that I'm going to put out, and this is a chat between Samuel Miranda Sushi, stored on the phone of Rhea Chakraborty, and this is Rhea asking for details, financial details, and in this she asks mutual funds or FDs में कितना पैसा है, and in the reply Samuel Miranda sends her a document which is a PDF file of how much money Sushant Singh Rajput has in his mutual funds and his FDs. And I have seen that PDF, which is not accessible because this is a printout and not an online version. But I've seen the copy of that, and there was 4.5 crore of that money. And this dates from the date of, I'm just trying to find the date of this particular chat. This is around May of 2020. So just before Rhea Chakraborty left Sushant Singh Rajput, she was finding out how much money was in his account from Samuel Miranda. And on that note, Vikas Singh, the family lawyer, senior counsel, joining us on the News Hour tonight. Vikas Singh, money, pins of credit cards and debit cards and mutual funds and fixed deposit details, everything was being sought by Rhea. She even asks questions on whether pins can be changed through net banking, because that was being controlled by Samuel Miranda. And of course, she's talking about drugging Sushant Singh Rajput 3 times. This conversation with Jaya Saha, where he says you can give him this concoction 3 times, and then she tells him, tells her that the 3 sisters are arriving, and I hope they don't, uses a 4-letter word, they don't dash him up, clearly disabling Sushant Singh Rajput before she vamooses from the house. Does this now completely look like a conspiracy that was on Mr. Vikas Singh?
Navika, the narrative appears to be very, very clear now. In fact, that is what has been said in the FIR, and with all these exposes, you are only proving whatever has been, alleged by the family. The narrative is very clear that she wanted to enter his life. She wanted to disable everybody else. So whoever was close to him, whoever was managing his business, whoever was, helping him in his accounts, that was the first person to be attacked, which is Priyanka. Then she actually knew that Sushant is a little gullible, so she took full advantage of that and slowly got into his life, took over all his finances, took over his household, took over all his servants, changed all the servants, the bodyguard, everybody. And then to control him, started, giving him drugs, which he was not used to, and obviously he had no idea about it because it was being given to him clandestinely, surreptitiously, without his knowledge and without his consent. And that way she could, control his mind. And when all this was at its peak, the sisters were coming. So she wanted to, that's why the 4-letter word, she wanted that the sisters should not be able to convince him to get back to normalcy. Now that's very, very important, Navika. The moment he used to be with his sisters, he used to slowly start turning normal. And that is why when Sushant came to Rani in Panchkula in 48 hours, and mind you, he drove all the way from Mumbai. He was so desperate. He drove all the way from Mumbai and he came to Rani, and within 48 hours she made 25 calls to him and ensured that he left as soon as possible, because she didn't want that 4-letter word to happen to him. That means that he shouldn't get back to normalcy. She wanted to get him back as soon as possible.
Otherwise,
so that
the drugs would have worn off.
His mind continues the way it has been doing. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And the family was not aware, Navika, because the family is not, used to dealing with drug addicts and knowing what are the symptoms of drug. Because these are only things where if you have an experience too, that you'll know that this is a drug effect. So the family thought that this is some kind of a anxiety problem which Sushant is having. And mind you, he never had this problem prior to 2019. He never had any problem prior to Rhea coming into his life. His problem started only and only after April of 19, when Rhea came in his life, and he for the first time complained about this to his sister in September, and of course later in November and January. So, and that is why the complaint in February. So the Mumbai police, which was waiting for a written complaint, probably was in league with this cartel, and they were wanting to support, because Navika, under the CRPC, there is no requirement of a written complaint. And when you
big disclosure coming in from Mr. Vikas Singh. Mr. Vikas Singh raising the biggest question. Was the Mumbai police, in fact, he's not even saying was, the Mumbai police was in league with the drug cartel. They were protecting the drug cartel. Big disclosure coming in from Mr. Vikas Singh on this show tonight. And this comes on the back of Times Now's relentless investigation. The entire plot becoming completely clear from these deleted chats that Rhea Chakraborty wanted no one to see. She deleted them. She destroyed 8 hard disks before she left Sushant Singh Rajput on the 8th of June. Well, Mr. Vikas Singh, lawyer of Gaurav Arya also joining us this evening. Mr. Vikas Singh, I'll have to thank you. We're going across to advocate Manu Sharma. Mr. Manu Sharma, Gaurav Arya was in touch with Rhea Chakraborty. Would you have any details to share about Gaurav Arya and his links with Rhea Chakraborty? Did he supply drugs to her as seen from these chats?
Yes, I've already responded. Well, to call this an allegation, I think today is premature. I don't see, I've never been summoned by any agency to respond to any of this. I don't know the veracity or the authenticity of the tapes or the chats that are in your possession on the basis of which you're running this. But I can say this with complete certainty. I have never ever peddled or
forget the veracity. These are signed documents. They are with 3 agencies. I want to ask you, do you deny these chats?
So let those agencies come and ask me. I don't think any news channel has any authority to pose questions to me. But
so you're not denying these chats. May I tell you, Mr.
It's a
Manu Sharma.
I'm sorry, it's a 3.5-year-old chat. It's a 3.5-year-old chat that you're using against my client. I don't call that responsible journalism. Does your client distribute
drugs, yes or no? Are you denying that he had these chats with Rhea Chakraborty?
I'm not answerable to you. Please understand this.
You have no authority to question me.
Mr. Manu
People who
Sharma,
do, I will respond to them.
Mr. Manu Sharma,
Yes.
you must understand
Yes.
that I'm no greenhorn either.
Yes.
I'm no greenhorn either. If I can access 30 pages of chats, 30 pages of
Yes.
chats from 2017
Yes.
to 2020, you know I have
Right.
information on what's going on, and I have information
So then-
that summons have been issued to you tonight.
Well, you
Summons have been issued
can
to your
have all the
client
information
tonight.
that you want. So I'll respond to those summons. I'll respond to those summons.
So you're not denying that these chats existed?
I don't remember, and I'll respond to the authorities. Not
Okay, and where is your client? Is he in Goa?
My client is in Goa and is willing to join any inquiry that any authority may want to conduct.
All right, and anything that he may want, because we are putting out these chats, which we know are true. We are doing a journalistic job, Mr. Manu Sharma, of taking your point of view.
Well, ma'am, you can raise your voice all you like, but the truth will come out. My client never did anything illegal. Please understand.
Okay, so you're saying if he never did anything illegal, then you're denying these chats?
I will respond to the authorities.
No, but if he didn't do anything illegal, which is distribution of drugs, telling people whether he has MDMA and he can procure MDMA, isn't it illegal according to law, according to the Narcotics
I have
Act?
never done anything illegal. My client has never done anything illegal.
If he's willing to join the probe, Mr. Sharma, why is his phone switched off, or does he have other numbers?
Well, his phone had become out of order. He has applied for a new SIM. It will be activated shortly, and you can contact me. I speak on his behalf, and he will be
called him yesterday
more than willing
as
to
well.
join any inquiry by any
Mr.
agency.
Manu Sharma, we contacted him yesterday as well, and I didn't think he wanted to answer any of the questions that we asked him, because somebody who has nothing to hide normally talks fearlessly. He disconnected the phone.
He will to the concerned agency.
Are you taking the easy way out? You don't want to respond because if there is nothing to hide, Mr. Sharma.
You're not making it easy. You're not making it easy by spreading all this against my client.
Sir, spreading.
Let the agency do their job.
I'm sure I don't want to make it easy for drug peddlers, and according to this chat.
Yeah, you can. No. If you're.
I think you've been dealing with the Mumbai police, which is why you're talking about life being easy with the Mumbai police. They never asked you these questions when Bandra is the place where all this is being supplied. But yes, I'm not going to make your life easy. I'm not going to make your life easy.
You can do whatever you want. You can go
and I'm doing my journalistic duty. I'm doing my journalistic duty of asking you once again, Mr. Manu Sharma, are you denying these chats between your client, Mr. Gaurav Arya, and Rhea Chakraborty?
I will respond to men who have the power to ask questions to my client.
You're putting your client in jeopardy by not giving a clear answer. Is he a supplier, or was Rhea a one-off friend?
Are you running agencies?
Sir, I am doing my job as a journalist. And you know I'm a journalist. If I was running an agency, sir, you wouldn't be sitting and talking on camera and addressing crores and crores of people.
Not to interrogate.
I'm asking you a
Please
question.
stop
You find
these
it
lies against my
interrogation
client.
too bad?
He has not done anything illegal.
Okay, so are you...
I will respond to a person in power. I will do that. I have said it once, twice, thrice, 100 times. Thanks.
Okay, person in power
but please
meaning...
stop spreading these lies.
What do you mean by drugs not being illegal? You're a lawyer. Can you explain to our viewers, is possession...
I'm sorry, it's not, I'm sorry, please.
We are talking
don't
about MDMA, sir. We are talking about MDMA, sir. MDMA. I'm told it comes in a tablet or a capsule form.
Today there is no basis for saying this.
Sir, these chats are the basis, and these chats are original documents that have been got from investigation agencies. I am putting these documents on air, and myself and my channel both stand by the documents that have been put out as being absolute, original, correct and authentic documents. Now I'm asking you, in these chats, Gaurav Arya calls Rhea Chakraborty, says, come out, take it. When you're in the car, call me. Did he have these chats with Rhea Chakraborty or not? Are there other clients that he has in Bollywood in the Swiss circle?
I will talk to the agency when they summon me.
Okay.
And you will know. You will know the outcome of that.
You know the Enforcement Directorate has summoned you. You know the Narcotics Control Bureau has filed a case with Gaurav Arya's name on it, Mr. Manu Sharma.
If they do, I'll be very happy to appear.
All right. So why is Gaurav Arya, your client, hiding behind a
He's
lawyer?
Not hiding. I am here before you, no? He's not hiding.
Okay, so why is he switched off his phone? Or it just
He's not switched off. I just explained it to you. He's applied for another SIM. Yeah.
Okay. He's applied for another.
Nobody's hiding here. Please take it on record.
Yesterday we called him. Can you identify his voice for us? Can we just play out the phono?
I'm not able to. I'm not getting to all this.
आप तो उसकी आवाज पहचानते होंगे, आपका client है.
You wanted my comment. I've given that, madam. I don't want to. I am not into identifying voices.
At least tell us if this was Gaurav Arya.
I'm not getting into that.
You're not?
You can play
facts.
I'm not getting into that.
Facts are not something that concern you, Mr. Manu Sharma, as a lawyer?
Well, yeah, I'm not. I do that in court, not in front of a news channel.
Your client's reputation is on the line. Can you just explain to us?
Which you are harming irresponsibly.
I'm not. Absolutely not.
You are.
That is a charge. That is a charge that people of India will throw out of the window. Any court of law will throw out of the window. I'm talking on the basis of evidence in my hand, sir.
We have agencies and we have courts to do that, not you.
You're not answering my direct question, Mr. Manu Sharma. What are you scared of?
I don't have to. I have told you my comment is over.
Mr. Manu Sharma, Mr. Manu Sharma, the truth has one version. The truth has one version.
Will come out.
You can say it here. You can say it to any agency, but the truth has one version. Why don't you give us your one version of truth?
I don't have to. I will do it to the agencies. Believe me.
Well, if it is lies, then deny it. Deny it. I dare you to deny these
I don't
chats.
have to.
I've
told you I've never done anything
illegal.
Deny
the chats.
I have
deny
never
the
done.
Chats.
My client has never done anything illegal. Please understand this one time. I don't know why it's so hard to understand.
Have you denied these chats? Are you denying these chats?
What else is
a lie?
When I say,
is it a lie? Are you denying
it? When I say that I have never done anything illegal,
are you denying these chats?
I said what I wanted to say.
Are you denying these chats, Mr. Sharma? Are you denying these chats? Are these lies? Are these lies? Are you denying them?
What you are speaking is lie. It's a big lie.
Is it a lie?
Yes, it's a lie that you've been spreading. Calling my client a drug dealer is a lie.
Okay, so he just consumes drugs? So he just consumes drugs and has friendly chats and asked people to come out and take it from his car?
Now you're entering a very defamatory zone, madam.
No, I'm quoting him from the chats that he had with Rhea Chakraborty.
You can keep your chats, you can read them to your viewers, but that's not going to affect. I'll respond.
Why are you so scared? Why don't you deny these chats?
I'm scared. I responded to your call and I'm here before you. No, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to agree with you.
You are saying he's not a drug dealer, then deny the chats.
I will face inquiry, I'll face investigation, but I am not answerable to you.
Are you denying these chats? Are you denying these chats?
You can go on.
Are you denying these chats?
I don't even know whether your chats are authentic. Why should I get into denying or accepting?
Then why did you come on the phone, sir? If the chats are not authentic.
You invited me.
Yes, I invited you to tell me whether these are right or wrong. So tell me whether they are right or wrong.
I've said what I wanted to say.
No, tell me whether this is right or wrong. Are you denying?
Are you denying? I am not. You can go on.
Are you denying these chats?
You can go on doing
Are you denying these chats?
I don't even know whether your chats are genuine. How many
I'll play them out for you. Well, can we put out those chats? All the chats are on air.
You can go on doing that.
Gaurav Arya's.
All you like.
Gaurav Arya's chat. He tells Rhea Chakraborty, come out. Call me when you're in the car.
I don't have to respond to you.
Well, are you denying then? Are you denying? In case we speak about hard drugs, I haven't done too many. According to him, LSD once and MDMA.
I don't know what.
Rhea told Gaurav, and Gaurav says yes, he has MDMA. He can procure MDMA.
I don't have to respond. I don't even know whether it's genuine that what you're reading.
So are you denying?
My denial doesn't matter, madam. I have said I have never done anything illegal. I stick to that.
I have asked these questions because you said you are representing your client.
I have never done anything illegal. If I have, I will respond to the agency and to court, not to you.
Well, the case has been registered against your client.
You know everything, right?
Yes, I do.
Oh, great, thank you, congratulations.
Yeah, the narcotics.
Thank you so much.
The Narcotics Control Bureau has registered a case this evening, Mr. Sharma.
Great. So I'll.
So are you denying these chats? Are you denying these chats?
You're repeating something which is baseless, does not lend it any credibility.
It's not baseless. I put out a chat. I've got this. I've accessed this. I have accessed these from an agency. Your client has been named in a case by the Narcotics Control Bureau, and you're saying that he's never done anything illegal. So are these chats wrong?
Yes.
Are you denying?
So they will inquire, and I will come out.
Are these chats wrong?
You can go on again. You can go on posing this question.
But you're the lawyer. You're the lawyer. You should give the official position. Are these right or wrong chats?
I'll respond to the agency, madam. I'm not responding to you. I don't know what you have in your possession, really.
They're playing out.
Whether it's genuine, whether it is not genuine, I have no idea.
Message from the car. Why did Rhea Chakraborty delete these chats,
I think you're wasting your own time and mine.
Why did Rhea Chakraborty delete these chats, sir? What was she trying to hide?
How the hell do I answer for Rhea?
Because Gaurav Arya, your client, is chatting with somebody.
If you do anything, can I answer for you?
No,
what Rhea has done, she will answer. How can I answer for her?
The contents are evidence, sir, in a murder, possibly a murder case.
Then we will read. Then let the agencies do their job. They will read.
Well,
you don't have any right to.
This has been accessed from agencies.
That's really unfortunate. If an ongoing investigation has been leaked to you, that's quite unfortunate.
What is unfortunate, sir, is the fact that a man has lost his life.
You can go on saying this all you like.
Are you denying the chats?
I don't have no reason to today believe your chats.
Okay,
when
so you're denying them.
I will advise my client.
So you're denying them.
On this.
You're denying them.
You can. I think my answer is clear. For the last 15 minutes, you can draw your.
It's not clear, sir. समझ नहीं आ रहा है. ना viewers को ना मुझे.
ठीक है, मत समझिए. That's why I say that leave the lawyerly stuff to lawyers and to courts and to.
Sir, अगर मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा, इंडिया को समझ नहीं आ रहा, तो agencies कैसे समझेंगी?
You are not the repository of India. Let me tell you.
Sir, I represent, I'm the Sutradhar of the voice of Indian people, sir. I'm the Sutradhar. I bring their questions to you, sir.
Okay, great. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. But would you want to tell me whether these chats are...
You can do it for the next 1 hour. Until I'm sure that these chats that you're speaking of are authentic and genuine, my client has not to take any position on one way or the other.
Oh,
that's my response.
He's not taking a position. उसे पता ही नहीं.
You can go on saying
no,
whatever.
Your client is not taking a position.
No, I'm sorry, you are not running a court here.
When did you last speak to your client?
That's between me and him.
No, I'm not asking you the contents of the chat. I'm only asking you when did you speak to him? Before his phone got...
This evening, I had a word with him this evening. He's available. Whenever he's summoned, he will answer.
Okay, so his phone was working then?
I told you it takes time for activation.
Okay, and then he's changed his SIM.
It's the same number, madam. Please understand this.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, same number. Which
all
you
right.
switched off. Thank you.
And for how long will his phone remain off? Because we'd like to talk to him as well.
You can call me anytime. His phone will also be soon working.
When you spoke to your client, what did he tell you? Did he have these conversations, chats with Rhea Chakraborty or no?
Well, now you're entering into a domain where you don't belong.
Why, sir? I'm asking you because I've read this.
I don't have to respond to you. I don't have to.
But sir, you'll have to respond.
Really?
But you're denying. Are you denying?
No, you can invite some lawyer and he will tell you that I don't have to respond to you.
Okay.
On this.
क्यों? अगर सच होता है तो लोग बता देते हैं.
What I share with my client, I don't have to respond to you.
Okay.
Share with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Gaurav Arya is going to come from Goa to present himself to the agencies?
That whenever the agency is required, he'll be there to answer every query.
Every query.
You can take it.
Okay. And you know, he will be talking on the narcotics. Manu Sharma, earlier you said you don't remember. Now you are saying बुलाएंगे तो आ जाएंगे. Earlier you said his phone is off, it's not working. Then you spoke to him a little while ago.
You can summon him and he'll appear. मैं पिछले आधे घंटे से बोल रहा हूँ कि वो आएंगे, एजेंसी का आंसर करेंगे, आपको नहीं करेंगे.
क्यों? लोगों के सवालों का जवाब देना जरूरी नहीं है.
आपका नहीं, एजेंसी का. हाँ.
अच्छा.
It's believe me, it is improper to interfere in an ongoing investigation. That's exactly what you are doing.
I'm not.
I hope you do.
I'm not interfering, sir. I'm not interfering, sir. May I tell you? The man who died on the 14th of June. The Mumbai police didn't ask any questions. These are recovered chats involved in a. Let me finish. In a possible murder case. And the chats have come up now because of the relentless pursuit of the truth that has been carried out by Times Now.
Yes. I have nothing to do with all that whole episode, please.
Okay. You know?
I have nothing to do with that.
Is that what your client told you?
Again, no, I think you should know where. I think you should learn to pose questions to lawyers.
Sir, I'm a journalist. I don't want to be a wannabe lawyer, but I just happen to be a journalist and I ask questions as they come to me.
I don't have to respond to you.
Okay, so I'm asking you, Rhea Chakraborty is a dramatis personae who could be involved in a certain amount of a conspiracy in the abetment of suicide or possibly a murder case. And Rhea Chakraborty has been in touch with your client. I'm asking you again.
When was this?
This was in 2017. आपको पहले याद नहीं था?
When did this man meet his maker? That was June 2020, after 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you about the murder. I'm only asking about whether you supplied drugs. That is the conversation.
No, I did not. I have answered that so many times. Why can you?
Then,
it's a simple answer. I've given like 10 times now.
If you did not, then what were these conversations? Let me just ask you. You know, you're a reasonable man, and I think you would understand some of these statements that have been made here. And I just want to ask you, what do these statements mean if they are not about drugs? Everyone wants to know. Rhea sends to him. He says, hard fresh is good, and then he goes on to say, in case we speak about hard drugs, I haven't done too many. Rhea tells him MDMA once. He says, you have MD. She asks him. He says, I'm out. Then she asks him, can we call for it? And then he says, yes, of course. He says, sorry, dude, that guy was passing me off and I didn't want to disturb. And your dad's evening. So he even knows Rhea's dad. That doesn't seem like a casual conversation. Obviously, somebody you know.
I think we can go.
And then Rhea asks him
I think we can go round and round in circles.
Circles
but
nahi hai, sir.
Understand? It's circle. Let the agencies do their
Circles
job.
nahi hai, sir. I'm asking you about your client's chat. And the client says, I think so, I can procure. Then after a few minutes, at around 8 o'clock, he says, I have, I can procure it for you. At 8:02, he says, come out, message me from the car. And then she comes out at that time and she says, okay. So they're talking about giving each other some hard stuff, some fresh stuff.
Okay. What do I say to this? I have said that I don't know the authenticity of your chats. When a responsible government agency,
I don't know what lawyers do in their free time, but as a journalist in my free time, I don't concoct names and chats between people.
I think you should not interfere in an ongoing investigation.
I'm not interfering, sir. I'm asking you a question.
Let them do their job.
I'm asking you
Whatever
a question
the truth is, it will come out.
because I have access.
By your screaming about it, the truth will not emerge.
I'm not screaming. I'm merely asking you questions. I'm merely asking you.
Speaking lie 100 times does not make it true.
I'm not saying lies, sir. The country will judge this. The courts will judge this. The courts will judge this.
I really hope.
I'm saying, is your client still in touch with Rhea Chakraborty? Is your client still in touch with Rhea Chakraborty?
Thank you so much. I have no contact with her. Thank you.
You don't have contact with Rhea? Or do you not have contact with Gaurav Arya? Or do you know whether these are lies?
I am Gaurav Arya. What are you talking? I won't have any contact with Gaurav Arya.
Okay, so you're not in touch with Rhea anymore?
I don't have to respond. I've already said I have no contact with her at all.
But
how many times do I have to say it?
You were discussing her dad with her casual?
You can, madam, I think I've spoken enough on this topic.
नहीं, पापा की बात कर रहे हो तो थोड़ा बहुत तो जानते ही
होंगे। पापा मम्मा जिसकी आप करेंगे वो एजेंसी करेंगी, आप मत कीजिए। This is not your job.
What's your job, sir? जवाब देना है ना, जवाब दे दो।
मैं आपने मेरे को इनवाइट किया था, मैं जवाब दे चुका हूँ और काफी बार एक बात को रिपीट कर चुका हूँ।
चलिए आपकी मर्जी। फिर एजेंसीज पूछेंगी, फिर आप उनको जवाब देते फिरिएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच। और जब आप
फिरिएगा यू कैन यूज एनी। ठीक है।
थैंक यू। नमस्कार।
थैंक्स।
नमस्कार। Well, that was Manu Sharma, the lawyer of Gaurav Arya, the man in Goa whose phone has suddenly stopped working because there are questions that we wanted to ask him, and we're looking at this entire investigation here. There is a drugs angle, there is a financial fraud angle, there is a conspiracy that's in the making. We'll keep playing all the chats that we've been able to access. In fact, this is the whole dossier, all 24 pages of it, ladies and gentlemen, that we hear at times now. Yesterday we showed you 8 chats. Today these are 24 pages, 4 chats all on a page. And we'll tell you exactly what these chats reveal. We'll take a short break. We'll be back on the other side.